Colby as the most deserving contender because he was a former interim champion, or do you think that the longer he stays out, the slimmer he's deserving of the title shot?
No, no one's really deserving of anything. You know, as long as you're fighting and you're active, it's the hottest guy whose name's the biggest is who the promotion is gonna put in there to fight. And no, I wanted Colby because I've wanted Colby for 3 years now. We've had several opportunities. They've offered me that fight at least 4 or 5 times, and I've accepted each and every time. He's the guy that has turned down the fight, and so now there's nowhere else to run. You know, his excuse before was, I'm chasing the title. Well, the title's here now. So, of course, if that fight, I would be glad if they made that fight. But if not, it doesn't matter to me.
At the Q&A yesterday, you talked about the Brazilians asking you to beat him up, and your wife is a Brazilian as well, right?
My ex-girlfriend is Brazilian, yes.
Okay. Do you take that in consideration of the thing he says outside of the octagon? Do you do you try to move away from that to avoid getting too emotional with the thing he says about you as well?
No, I don't. For me, there's no emotions when I step inside that octagon. There's no emotions. It doesn't matter. I don't see a face. I don't care who it is. Whoever stepped in there and locked inside that octagon with me is the guy that I'm going to punish. And, yeah, of course, this is extra ammunition. I love the Brazilian fans. I love the Brazilian people. My daughters have Brazilian. And so, of course, that's a little extra. So when I'm really hitting them, I'm going to put a little extra for the Brazilian people, a little extra for the Africans, a little extra for the Muslims, everybody. I can go through my phone, my Instagram right now. I've got at least 20 messages of people saying, I can't wait for you to beat that guy up. So, it's great. He's really made himself the bad guy, and I appreciate it, and I love it.
Usman, with that said, fighting in Brazil is something that you plan to do in the future?
I have fought in Brazil. I fought here in São Paulo. I fought Wale Alves. Yes, I was scheduled to fight Serginho Moraes in Curitiba. Unfortunately, that one fell through. I got sick, but I love Brazil. If I got the opportunity to defend here, I would absolutely do it.
You said, going back to Colby, that at the same time, you appreciate that he made himself the villain, and I think that's a fight that would be so interesting because it's got those things, but at the same time, it does seem like a little person. I might be mistaken, but I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast that you mentioned that you wanted to do this fight for other people, and I think that has to do with how Colby carried himself outside the octagon. So is there a personal element to it as well?
A little bit, just because of there's a certain that we're all entertainers at the end of the day, but there's a certain boundary, there's a certain line that you have to realize as an entertainer that you can't cross, because at the end of the day you're still a human being. So when you step outside of this world of entertainment, no one can do this forever. So when you step outside, you still have to be a normal human being. And so when you cross those lines, everyone else don't care that you're an entertainer and now you're no longer entertaining, or you still entertaining. No one cares. And so when you've crossed those boundaries, that's what people think about and that's what people care about. And so he's crossed that boundary several times, just trying to be the entertainer. And so that's what makes it a little personal. But like I said, this is a fight that I've wanted for a long time, because this is a guy that has ran his mouth for a long time about me. And so you run your mouth about me, I want to fight you. And so when you run away, it makes it even more interesting. I want to fight you now. So, hopefully the opportunity comes to light, everything works out. But, it is what it is. I'm here to beat up the next guy in front of me. I don't have to call people out anymore or chase guys to fight me. I'm the champion. They have to come to me.
Do you think he's faking, or do you think that's really who he is?
That's for everybody to decide. I have mutual friends with him, so I kind of know the difference between his personalities, but it doesn't matter to me. When you go public and you say things like that, now it's real. And so we'll find out if he ever steps inside that octagon with me.
Is there another...
How about taking UFC to Africa? And how do you think, how near it is? And is it a legacy you want to leave?
Absolutely. I think we're very close to that. I didn't realize this at first, but the UFC has partners with TV partners down in Africa, and so that would be amazing. I mean, this is as you guys know now, there's Africans in the UFC that are doing amazing. We have 2 champions right now, 2 champions, both from Nigeria. You have Francis Ngannou, who is staring at that title. He's so close to that title. He's also from West Africa, from Cameroon. We have Razak Al Hassan, who's knocking guys out in the welterweight division. He's also from Ghana. He's from Africa as well. You have Sadiq Youssef, another Nigerian. We have a few Nigerians right there getting ready to get the call up. So, things are looking really good for Africa right now. I think in 2020, UFC is definitely going to be looking to do their first show there.
Do you know if there's any good arenas to hold a UFC event there, or is that something UFC has to really wait for something to come up?
Oh yeah, there's some major, good, really really good arenas. I think that was the thing of the past where they were worried about the infrastructure, where they can this sustain. But yeah, there's definitely the ability to do it. We have good basketball teams there as well. So there's definitely places to do it. It's just, does everything else work out? Money and tickets, and there's a lot of intricate details that go into taking a fight somewhere. So hopefully the UFC can get that worked out, because Africa needs it right now.
You mentioned Sadiq, and then I remember that after he just recently won, and he said that he got really emotional watching you take the title because he saw you with your mom, and it's like, you see one Nigerian mom, we've seen all of them, and that was my mom there. Like he said he got really emotional and choked up, that it meant a lot to him to see you get that title. So how does it make you feel that you get to be that mirror for these guys?
It feels amazing, because that's spoken just like a true Nigerian. That's how we are. We're so prideful about where we come from, because we come from humble beginnings to where when one guy's doing it at that level is really showing us that there's a way. We all take pride in that, and that's something that resonates with all of us. So yeah, I completely understand it, and I feel it, because I've felt like that too with certain Nigerians. So it means a lot to me, and that's legacy. That's what you can't. I didn't ask to be put in that situation. I just happened to be chosen to be that guy, to be able to be the first ones to blaze that trail. So it feels amazing.
If UFC really put on a show in Africa next year, do you think it's going to be in Nigeria because of you and Zanya?
It could be. It just depends on who, like I said, the infrastructure and the things like that, those details. So whoever's willing to step up. I mean, look, Zaire held the Rumble with Ali and Foreman years ago in Zaire. So, I mean, it's definitely can be done. It could be in Nigeria. Obviously, that would be logical, makes sense, because you have 2 champions from Nigeria. But also South Africa, there's a big promotion down there as well that's doing well. Anywhere in Cameroon, Ghana, Saudi Arabia is there. There's a lot of different parts. So, of course, I would love it to be in Nigeria, but we'll see what happens.
You made it very clear the fight that you won for your title defense, but you did say if Colby ever steps in there. Why the if? Why do you think would prevent this fight from happening?
Well, there's the if, because there's a lot of different things that goes on. Like, I mean, we're talking, some contracts that need to be worked out. We're talking about the logistics, where the fight's going to take place. Because I don't mind. I'll fight anywhere. But I don't think he's able to fight just anywhere. I don't think there's a lot of countries saying, oh, yeah, bring this guy here to fight. So, so those are details that have to be worked out. And, of course, like I mentioned, the most important, my injury, once that's healed up. And I'm hoping he's man enough now to step up and actually take the fight now. Because this was a fight. We were actually offered a fight in Anaheim in December last year, or I think maybe early January. And he turned down that fight. So, he's. I know he's saying to the media, "Oh, I want to fight. I want this fight. I want this fight." But they've offered him that fight before. He said no. So, what's gonna be different now?
And if it's not Colby, who is deserving this title shot?
Well, that's the thing. That's for those guys to make themselves visible. Ben Askren's made a lot of noise. If he's able to get through Masvidal, that's an interesting fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio is I think on a 6-7 fight win streak, and he's doing well as well. So that's an interesting fight. Tyron Woodley's fighting Robbie Lawler. If he's able to get past Robbie Lawler, that's a rematch that could happen. So there's a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different pieces. So it's whoever does their job and steps up and becomes that number 1 contender is who I'm going to face.
Besides Colby, is there another welterweight that you have personal wishes with?
No, I'm one of those guys. I don't have personal issues with anybody. You can ask any UFC fighter on the roster. You know, they see me. I'm the same guy. I don't have no personal beef with anybody. I fought the champion Tyron Woodley. I have no beef with him. I like him. You know, so Colby's the one guy that has kind of made himself that villain ever since a long, long time ago. And I've said this before. There's some history here. There's a lot of different things like. This was supposed to happen. This was something that was already written before we were even born, because I've actually stayed where he went to college. The room that he went to college, I actually stayed there a while ago, years ago. You know, he was a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. We both live in South Florida, at least 20, I think maybe 20 miles apart from each other. So this is something that's already been planned before us. So it's destined to happen. Hopefully he doesn't screw it up, so we'll see if it happens.
You talked about contracts and business and money. What are your thoughts on the UFC moving the pay-per-view to the UFC Plus platform, and how does that kind of affect you in terms of pay-per-view points? Because now you're a champion, you have to you make pay-per-view points now.
Yeah. That's why I have good management, and that's why I pay them good money. So, you know, they figure that out. They know the best, because, you know, whatever is good for me is good for my management team. So my manager always does a good job of making sure that everything is done right. So, you know, he's going to go out there and do his job again and make sure that everything works out right. And all I have to do is sit back, fight, and get paid.
After defending your title for a few times, moving up to the middleweight is something that you plan to do?
We'll see. If it makes sense, then yes. You know, Whitaker was a former welterweight. So if he's still the champion at that time, it makes sense. Absolutely. But as you know, my brother Israel Adesanya is there, and once he goes out and really makes the same claim that he's the true middleweight champion, then there's no need for me to do that. I mean, potential contenders are going to continue to present themselves, and I'll continue to beat them all down until I decide to walk away from the sport.
I think you already answered that, but I missed it. When can we expect your return, your next fight?
By the end of the year, for sure. I planned on fighting at least 3 times this year, but then I dealt with this injury. So, like I said, my fingers are still crossed, and I'm hoping to at least for sure get 1 more in, and preferably 2 more.
About Adesanya, how is the relationship between you two?
We have a great relationship. You know, I'm my own person, and he's his own man as well. But, you know, we're Nigerians. You know, it doesn't matter where we are. If a Nigerian runs into another Nigerian, that's my brother. We have that type of relationship. So every time I see him, man, it's nothing but love. I always wish him the best. I met his family, and so an amazing guy, amazing guy. And you know, we're making waves right now. We're the future of the sport, and he knows that, and I know that.
What's the secret about Nigerian MMA?
We're resilient people. We come from humble beginnings. We have everything that we own, everything that we get, we have to fight and claw away to. So, you know, that's just a undying resilience that we all have. We have this thing inside of us to make it happen. And it's not just us. It's all Nigerians. If you look at some of the professions that Nigerians are in, they're either going to be doctors, engineers, lawyers. So we really strive for excellence in everything that we do. That's it? All right. Thank you, guys.